ready to do a quick audio check. If you guys can hear me, go ahead and type in wire yes and let me know that everything is good to go. Good, 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 good. So, Robert, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to your answer. Um, Joe, if you own it, you don't have to, you don't purchase it. That if you own it, you don't purchase that. This is for people that don't own it and they want to see what that tool is like. That's what that's for. So that was somebody that said, for marketing. Let's see. Tom, you're in the Sunday session now. Oh, the link to where they're recorded at? Is that what you're asking for? I was like, you're in it, buddy. You can see my confusion. Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry about that, Tom. Who's on first, right? What's on second? Generally they go to my YouTube channel. When I get the chance to post them, I will give me a second here. View your channel. Here we go. And I'm also going to start doing more on YouTube as well. So, oh my God. Look, guys, I am not this person. I promise you, but just go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Please, why not? It's free. I'll be posting stuff. I try to get them up there pretty timely. And you get alerted when you do subscribe. All you got to do if you're not subscribed is like at the bottom, like I'll just show you on a random video. Like here's this Chopin video or whatever. So at the bottom, there's a black button that says subscribe. You hit that button. Anytime I post something, you get alerted. So, and it'll be like there when you watch it. So just subscribe. I'm not an influencer. Can you tell I like watches and technology and I am constantly changing my home office setup? So let's get into it here today. So perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. So like and subscribe, everybody. I swear, never in my life did I ever think I'd ever say those two words. But as I do more on social channels, as I do more on YouTube, as I do more in launching something, and guys, I'm gonna let you guys know. Take a look at this. Okay, I built something, and actually, let me see if I can. I'm going to try to see if this works. I'm trying. Let's see. Okay. So just to let you know, this system that I built, right? This is on the NASDAQ. This is a 3-minute chart. It works on all time frames, all charts, all market conditions, blah, 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 blah. But 100% win rate on oil. And then I'm coming up with optimal settings for all of the major markets that I would trade, plus a couple of others. It also draws like counter trend lines for you, and if the criteria are met, it'll tell you that there's another counter trend line coming. This is going to be more than likely coming out this month. Is when I think we're going to be launching. But you guys can see, I don't mind giving you guys a little sneak preview. We'll use this some, but I'm going to leave that for small for now, and then I'll take it off too while we're trading. But so we'll talk about that a little bit here today. Hello to you all. Let's see. Sharon, that's so funny. Sometimes the emails they come from me, sometimes they don't, because I am partnered within the Woodford brand itself. Today, guys, we have a pretty incredible agenda to get to. I'm going to be talking a lot about I don't know if you guys know this, but like I learned to code some, and then this vibe coding has really allowed me to do stuff. And I built a program here today because I wanted to look at like when the price of oil hit that $40 a barrel in the 1970s and what happened. And then when they increased the Fed's fund rate to 20%, and then we had that crash in oil, what happened as well, and how this could play out. And then I did some deep diving into the movements of the overall market. Now, the S&P didn't exist back in the 1970s and 1980s. It didn't exist until 1993. But what I did was I actually built a program that let me that chose the top 500 stocks by market cap and then compiled those into a singular ETF, basically creating the S&P 500 of the 1970s. And I looked at how much it dropped with the price of oil that triggered during the I really should say like the Iran oil embargo crisis of the 70s, because I wanted to try to figure out, okay, how much did those stocks drop? And I also have that information on the Dow because the Dow existed back then. So it's really, really simple to do. But I built this program myself in a 35, 45 minutes. But the other stuff, it took me a little bit longer to compile. I told you guys in one of my videos that I would be covering this weekend. So that's one of the things that we're going to be covering. And it's pretty shocking. And it's something that today I am going to be offering you guys like an opportunity to book time with me and talk about how this stuff could affect your retirement. Because I just watched an interview with Robert Kiyosaki with one of my favorite, Robert Kiyosaki is the guy who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And there's a guy that I watch his podcast a lot. He talks broad-based economics, macroeconomics, all over things market. And one of the things that Robert Kiyosaki said, he's like, I am preparing for an absolute bloodbath in the market. And anybody over the age of 60 to 60, anybody age of over 60, get ready to have, your potentially your entire retirement gone. If you're not protecting yourself, I don't know what to tell you to do. And that's not my words. That's the guy who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad telling you about that. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk also some trading stuff, and we'll be breaking down, all of the tickers in the market as well that we typically look at in our Sunday session stocks. And so with that said, gotta let you know, not acting in my capacity as a commodity trading advisor, simply here to show you opportunity. What you guys do with that opportunity is all up to you, as well as if you decide to take any of the trades that I show here today, just know that you do so of and on your own volition. And then let's see. Love it, love it, love it. So couple of things here really quickly for those that don't know me. My name is James Bishop. Anybody's first time here today? First time in the Sunday sessions? Yes or no? Type in a MeWire yes if this is your first time in one of my sessions. Joe, Neil, good to see you, buddy. Okay, love it, love it, love it. I have your name is L.I. What's your actual name, if you wouldn't mind? It's two initials, I know. Neil, good to see you. Jack, good to see you. Joe, good to see you. Lisa, perfect. All right, beautiful. Well, guys, just to let you know who I am, just in case, my name is James Bishop. I've been in trading and trading education for 17 plus years. I co-founded a managed fund where we manage people's accounts individually, higher net worth individuals for that, because there's our minimums in place. And then I own a retirement and estate planning company. I have about 25 agents that work with me at the company that I founded. And that's we help people retire tax-free, have long-term income in retirement, guaranteed returns, as well as guaranteed protection on the downside. I have my MBA in finance and global portfolio management, and I am working on my doctorate in finance and global and economics as well. Let's see. George, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you as well. And really and truly, guys, I do what I do because I have a passion for trading, a passion for investing. I love to talk. Not kind of joking, but also not joking there. I love working with people and I love helping people. That's really what it's all about for me, is like I want to help people find success, even if it's not working with me. Maybe it's something else that I can do for somebody else, like connecting them with another individual or something like that. That's what I love to do at the end of the day. Quick housekeeping items. One, the Wealth Watch and Energy Watch. Those two are newsletters that I do. I need to put them together. I'm going to share both of these. If you're not subscribed to them, go ahead and subscribe. They come out every day, like around 11 o'clock or so. Is an email from me, and I go through and I break down the market. I break down news. I find stock opportunities. I find trading opportunities that I send out all the time. That one is the Wealth Watch. So that one's broad based market. The next one is Energy Watch. And what I do in Energy Watch is I talk about, the stocks that are going to be around energy, because I believe that energy and energy infrastructure is going to be the number one investment. I think it's going to have AI like returns, just like, well, AI and healthcare type returns over the next 5 to 10 years. Is going to be the most important thing that we see. As a matter of fact, like one of the stocks I talk about here, yeah, this one, Energy Watch, water stock surge, AI data center impact. Guys, one of the crazy statistics is that, did you know that I'm not talking a large one. I'm not talking something like Stargate or something like Terafab. I'm talking just like your regular every single day run of the mill AI data center. I want you guys to guess really quickly. Just guess how many gallons of water does an AI data center use during a year? Type it in right now. Just your best guess. I want to see if like I was the weird one that was shocked, or if like everybody would be shocked about this. Let's see here. Um, Two pools, 5 million gallons, 20 trillion, 1 million, 6 million, 10, 7 million a year. All right, you guys ready? A regular AI data center. Keith got it on the head because he probably watches Energy Watch. 1.5 billion gallons of fresh water a year is used by an AI data center for cooling. 0.5% of the earth is fresh water that we consider consumable. So that leads to desalination, which needs a even greater energy need, which is why some of the investments that I talk about are in those areas. That's why, like guys, when I do, let me just say this, okay? Let me just say this. Is like the reason I do what I do is because like there's dots that can get connected, but you have to really think of like everything that gets involved in those. And I love peeling back the layers. And that's what I do, is like find these like weird, like small plays. Let me give you a for instance, okay? One of my probably actually I will say this, the single best stock performance of the last year for me um has been Intel. And not the last year, and I'll say the last year, but I'm going to show you guys where I got into Intel at. I bought in Intel in October of 2023. Okay, so we're going to go to a monthly chart. October of 23. So I got in right here, and I think I closed all of my positions in Intel except for 10 shares now is all I hold, right at like 75 bucks. I went from 23 to 75. That's a 300% return. How did I know that? Guys, it was just like to me the writing was very obvious. It was extremely obvious, right? What I was seeing. But to most, they wouldn't see what I see. I don't know why, but hey, that's one of our gifts. We all have gifts. So, I'll talk a little bit about that. That's what I love to find as well. So let's see. Wrong date entry. I mean, yeah, I guess, October 2023. Oh, back here. Yeah, back here at 30 bucks or so was, I think it was like even less. But yeah, I mean, I had it at 18 bucks at one point as well. Same for Zoom, same for Tesla, same for UNH, same for Lululemon. Like that's just there's like little things that'll tell you what's going to happen. So the other area to get in that I want everybody to do is this is absolutely it's unsustainable. David, absolutely. Is this right? The Discord. Oh, I didn't say that like for congratulation purposes. I just said that to like give an example. Like it's what, our Discord, this is a free Discord channel. You have people that share their trades, you have people that ask questions and news and all of that. And there was somebody on there was like spamming us with some not so great links. So I booted them. And so if you ever get hacked and you start posting not so great links, you're going to get booted and you can come back. Just make sure you clean up your stuff. But this is a great resource for anybody here. You can connect with other people. I want you interacting. You can at me. I'm Jay Bishop, hence first initial last name, and you can ask questions all day. I'll definitely respond as I possibly can. So go ahead and join that. This is free. It'll always be free. And with that said, we got to get into this week's fundamental news announcements. So this week coming up on Tuesday, we have consumer confidence. Then we have oil inventories, interest rate decision for FOMC. We have U.S. GDP Q1 advanced estimate. We also have price index, PCE price index. Then we have jobless claims and manufacturing PMI to start off next month. But if you want to screenshot that and type in done and let me know that you got it screenshotted. And if somebody wants to post it to Discord, that'd be more than appreciated. So beautiful. Thank you. And then we also have earnings this week. Just a couple of companies reporting. Okay, nothing major. Just like one or two. Okay, so who needs to get worked up? But yeah, we got quite a few companies reporting earnings. Domino's Pizza, that's one I just always like to look at. I don't know. It was you know what it is? Honestly, in college, their stock was like super cheap. And I bought their stock while I was in college. And I bought like 20 shares. And then they had that partnership with the NFL, and their stock just rallied for years. And I forgot I even had the shares until one day I get an email about like voting or something like that. And I logged in and I was like, pretty nice. ACAT transfer that to my regular account. We have Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Caterpillar. McDonald's will be interesting. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. And I hope let me just flag. This was Instagram. Actually, you know what? We can look it up. McDonald's unlimited meal subscription. So, yeah, this is all social media stuff. I don't think this is real. We will see if it is real. I doubt it's real, but it says basically a $54 a month subscription. I don't believe this is real, so we're just gonna cancel that. But I thought that was crazy that was like it. We're talking millions and millions of people. So probably McDonald's will be a mover from fake news. We got AMD, Starbucks, MasterCard, Pfizer, Uber, Amazon, Qualcomm, ServiceNow, PayPal, Eli Lilly, Apple, Amgen, Ford, Valero, Merck, Intel, and well, Intel already reported earnings. Didn't they? No, they reported earnings. Yeah, they already reported earnings. Why did I think I may have left them in on accident. Take Intel out. Um, so take Intel out. So And but you can screenshot this as well. And let's see. And type in done when you got it done. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Now, with that said, before we jump in the charts, let's run through a couple of big pieces of news. Look, we all understand what happened over this past week. Well, we know about it. Like, I know there's just craziness going on. A third assassination attempt on President Trump and his twice, once campaigning, once when elected, and once now. This is absolutely wild what's happened, and you know, that's just a crazy, crazy event that has happened there. And so I'm not going to get into that, but I will get into Trump canceled the planned trip by Witkoff and Kushner to meet with Iranians in Pakistan, highlighting infighting and confusion within the leadership, within the Iranian leadership, not his own office. Kyla, I 100% agree with you on that, but I can't say that out loud, and you know that. But 100% in agreement there. He was U.S. and Iranian officials say they're really far apart, and the blockade in the Straits of Hormuz will probably still continue. U.S. naval forces intercepted Iran-linked sanctioned vessel in the Arabian Sea on Saturday amid push to limit Iranian energy exports, which that eventually is going to affect China, and we'll see how that works. I will say this: China gets 30% of its energy from solar and wind, so less of its energy from oil, but very much less dependent on oil than some other countries, but still very interesting. AI related stuff, companies with access to Anthropic's Claude Mythos AI model call for better coordination between government and business to defend critical infrastructure. Oracle Data Centers 16 billion funding deal finalized following months of volatile negotiations with investors. And they raised that capital via bonds. Okay? And let's see. Yep. Okay. So via bonds is how they raise that capital. So that is very interesting as well. Then we have Google, which is still one of the people I think that's going to come out as a winner from this AI strategy, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. They're doubling down on their kind of their way of doing things, which is like an closed end cycle on AI. And we'll get into that. So let's start here with let me get a different chart here. Reset. We're going to go to SP. We're just going to use the SPX because it's the best kind of looking same price as the S&P 500, so I can talk whole numbers. But I want to start off with this whole stagflation area. So most people remember I was not alive for it. I was born in 86, so let me just say that. But I have studied enough of it to understand every bit of it, which is that, there was an embargo on Iranian oil. It started in 1979, ended in 1981 or 82. And we saw the price of crude oil prices go from $10 a barrel and the federal funds rate being at 5% to crude oil prices going up to $40 a barrel with that embargo. Now, at the time, the globe wasn't so much as integrated as it is now with oil. We didn't have, the Venezuelan and Guyana pipeline. We didn't have the pipeline running through Canada. We didn't have fracking. We didn't have, the wells in Texas that are producing at the rates they're producing at now. We didn't have the whole everything like that. But we have to remember that it doesn't matter about all of that because the price of oil is set on a global basis. And if you remove 20% of supply for 1 month, it's going to take probably 3 to 6 months to bring prices back normalized. And you may say, James, why would it take 3 to 6 months? Well, let's just examine this crisis right now. So right now you have ships that are sitting stagnant, filled with oil. Then you go and you look on land, and infrastructure is very much destroyed from a lot of different countries. Qatar, Iran, obviously, and even some of Saudi Arabia and various others, right? UAE had some, but they don't, they're more tourist and medical and technology than anything. But you have infrastructure damage. Then you have these ships that are sitting full of oil. Well, even if everything were released tomorrow, the U.S. government currently says the estimated time to remove all of the landmines so that ships would be able to go through the straits is about 6 months for all shipping lanes to be open. That's going to take, let's say, 6 months. Well, that puts us to what? Late October. And then those ships will then be able to get out, and it's going to take them about a 30-day voyage to get to their ports of destination, offload, and then voyage back to reload if the infrastructure is back in place to produce the oil to put on the ship. Do we see where the breakdowns happen? Yes or no? Now, everybody says, well, all these ships are coming to the US to get oil for their country, so that's a great thing. Yes and no. We don't have the same production that the Middle East has. They're also not just getting oil, they're getting refined product. And that's a very big different thing, right? The refined product of diesel. Now, I spoke about this, I know, in the Energy Watch, and I spoke about this in a webinar the other day, which was the other day, diesel prices rose wholesale. So that means distributor from like the refinery to the distributor, that went up by 26 cents per gallon. So when that oil then gets shipped across the country, which they use diesel to ship diesel. And so that diesel is going to cost more money. So that means that price is going to get passed on and added to. We may add $1 to $2 at the pump. Well, when we're adding $1 to $2 at the pump, that goes into farming costs, and that farming cost is going to go into our food costs. Does everybody see how those dots connect? Yes or no? Now that's going to affect the markets overall. I'm just letting you know. And so what we saw happen, right, was corporate profits, they just started to collapse because demand was destroyed. And equity valuation was at all-time highs. The market was trading at a 15x multiple during that time. Well, then the Fed, Volcker came in and they raised rates up to 20%. Why did they do that? Because they wanted spending to slow down. They created that stagflation. So that way companies could raise their profits and discretionary spending remained flat. The price of oil came drastically down when the embargo was lifted. And so now you got spending and all that up, and then they were able to lower rates, lower rates, lower rates, lower rates, lower rates, lower rates, lower, lower, lower. And they went all the way to zero, as you know. And then they've gone up back to 5-6%. And now they're back down to 3%. And what I honestly think that is going to happen is the Fed is going to lower rates. Kevin Warsh, when he gets into office, he's going to lower rates just because that's what he said he was going to do. And he's going to lower them probably by by a quarter basis point or something like that. And then all of this oil inflation, food inflation is going to hit. And then they're going to have to raise rates. It's the only choice that they will have. And then what's going to happen is profit margin and discretionary spending is going to go down. Well, let me ask you this. If companies are selling less and they're making less, what does their stock do? Go up or go down? It's going to go down, right? More than likely, it's going to go down. Well, if we want to use and for those of you guys that just joined, I saw we got like 30 people that almost 30, 40 people that joined. Let me just tell you guys one thing. Right. Let me tell you one thing that I did just to catch everybody up was I know the S&P 500 did not exist in 1979, right? It didn't exist until 1993 is when it was created. But what I did was I created a program that took the top 500 market cap companies and by weight and created an equal weight index, a simulated index, if you will, from 1979 to like 1990 is what I did it for, right? Just to see what did that stock look like over that time. I wish my camera was on. I was like waving my finger up and down. Like, what did that stock do during this time? Like, I wanted to know, what did that group of 500 stocks do? Now, why did I use 500 stocks? Well, the S&P 500 has 500 stocks that are weighted by market cap. Ding, ding, ding. Does everybody see why I did that? Okay, great. Now that you understand that, let's talk about what happened. So what happened was a 48% drop, 48% drop from the high in the market. So if we take this as our high and we look down 48%, let me keep scrolling here. That's 40, 44, 45, 46, 47. There is 47.96%. And that price is 3730.57. 3730.57. Guys, it's like that gap analysis I tell you about. It's like it comes true because guess what's over here? A gap. That's still 1,000 points too high, though. 37. Let's just call it right here. I meant that to be a horizontal line. Right down here. Now, that brings us back to valuations in 2022, right? Wipes out the gains from all that time. Now, look. Yes or no, would that be devastating to your retirement, to your assets that you have held with your financial advisor or your 401ks or your IRAs that you're planning to use for retirement? Yes or no? Yeah. Right? I don't tell you this because like I don't tell you this because like to try to create fear. I tell you this because I believe that there's no when it comes to financial markets, there's no good, there's no bad, there just is. And it's our reaction to the good and the bad, right? Like some of you will use this information and right now you're saying, I hate to say this word, so if you're sensitive, please don't say anything. I apologize about using the foul language, but it's the best I can do because I grew up a Marine, grew up the son of a Marine, right? Some of you are saying this is just a crock of shit that Nostra dumbass over here is just, prognosticating about. And what does he know? Guys, history doesn't repeat itself, but people do, right? History doesn't repeat itself, but people do. And I have predicted for some time, right, that there is we're feeling the Main Street recession with the Wall Street boom, but eventually they meet. And when they meet this time, as Robert Kiyosaki has said, as Chaikin has said, as Warren Buffett has said, as Jamie Dimon has said, as Larry Fink has said, and even Scott Bissett, who said the other week that we are in a Brent Woods repricing scenario we are in the middle of one right now. That means that all assets are going to get repriced. That's a 48% drop. Guys, look, there is an opportunity here. Okay. And like, whether you work with me or don't, let me just say this. I care because yes, I want to work with you all. But I don't care if like once we have a one-on-one, you want to go some other way. That's totally fine by me. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up my calendar and I'm going to send you guys a link. And look, use this link to register. Or if you don't want to use this link to register, you could simply just like type in your phone number as well. Okay. You could type in your phone number as well. Right. You can just simply type in your phone number. We can have that one-on-one. We'll review what assets, what's your assets looks like, what your diversification looks like, where you could put some to offset some things, and where you could get guaranteed growth immediately, as well as lifetime income, as well as 100% protection from anything downside happening. Okay. And it's what I do on a daily basis. So if you guys want to use that link, feel free. This is something that I am actively tracking, right? All the dominoes are starting to line up. It's just going to take one thing to flick them over, right? One thing to flick them over, and that's it. Okay. So there is my link. And Kyla, absolutely. You can text me, you know that. And you could type in your phone number right now as well, and I'll screenshot it here. And what I'm going to do, anybody that types in their phone number, just so you guys know, I'm going to get one of my agents to call you guys this week to book time with me and we will all connect and we'll go through that. Yeah. I'll send that link as well. Again, let's see. So you can either type in your phone number or use that link. It don't care either way, whether it's the fund, no matter what it is, we will get you scheduled and we'll get you going. Okay. So we'll screenshot this now. And so feel free to type in your phone number. Neil, no worries. I'll get somebody to call you tomorrow. Appreciate that. All right. Now, knowing all of this, there's opportunity out there, folks. There's opportunity out there. And I really, really, really am looking forward to taking advantage of this opportunity here today. So let's get into some of our stocks here. And I'm going to, let's see here. Good old ASTS. Priyanka, I look forward to the day where you don't type that in. Let's see. GOG, Meta, AVGO. Any other stocks that, we still have a bunch of ones that I want to run through. And we're going to go through those as well. BE. Do you mean like gold, Neil? Yeah, we'll do some gold. We'll do gold. We'll do silver as well. and then SNDK, GLW, MU, BWXT, CVNA. I'm going to give you guys one that I want people to be looking at too. We'll definitely go over that one. Can't look at SpaceX, Sam. It's not public. QCOM, MSFT. All right, perfect. And so, Neil, here's the thing. Like, you talk normally, yes, you'd be right. He said, hey, I really like gold or silver for in the event of a crash. Normally, Neil, I'd be 100%. But right now, I don't know if you watch this past crash. What made this is, it's not what I'm not saying that it's not going to work again, right? But this past like crash, it did not work because it fell with it. You know what I mean? It fell with it. So let's run through this. And let's go Lulu really quickly. And for now, I'm just going to use HFT and I'll use my system too. Now, also, guys, if I may have to reach out to you for those that are booking time with me, just in case I have some I have webinars that I haven't blocked off on my calendar. So if I have to reach out or I have somebody else reach out to you, just work with them and then we'll have a follow-up as well. I'll always make sure to work with you. So Lululemon, we see that, hey, we had, the drop happened because of the new CEO. That always happens. If you look at Disney, if you look at Microsoft, if you look at Amazon, if you look at Apple, if you look at any company, is whenever they switch CEOs, the stock drops. But this is still a company I'm all in for. They actually are doing better than expected, or cash wise. Like they beat earnings both on the top and the bottom, and everything was good. And then they announced a new CEO, and then they're like, "Oh no!" But the CEO is going to come in. This is a person from Nike that did not do the dumb thing that Nike did to cause their problems. So I anticipate this stock to come back and they will be nimble and quick. And so this is one that I am still in on and still looking forward to. In TLA, we're sitting up $4.64, still doing well there. I did close Charter, by the way, and I personally closed UNH at 346, and I'm waiting on a pullback to enter in again. But Charter I did close as well at 49.15. Also, guys, I am, just so you know, I'm going to be working on something for everybody in here. One, it's a kind of a trading challenge to help you guys overcome some of your trading issues that I find that are most common. Like I'm working on a data set to fix that, help that. And then I'm doing a tracker for all of our trades here, and it will automatically update anytime I place a new trade or anything like that, and you'll have that. And it'll update with any pending trades as well on a separate tab. So they'll have pending, open, and closed. And then also it'll have, it's going to be where I start to compile all of the recordings for these sessions and other sessions that I'm going to be doing and a couple other things. It's going to be like $5. Right. Just because I have a cost for every single person that signs up, I have to pay for an LMS to house all this stuff. And I want it all in one area instead of like 50 different areas for you guys to get to. And it's going to be like $5 to $25 or something like that. I don't know what the cost per person is, but I'll just let you guys know whenever it comes out. Right. It's going to be super cheap on that. So, let's see. Kathy, did I see the quick drop in NTLA on Friday? Yeah. NTLA, I am not worried about, because this is one of the companies that I told you that was working on a pancreatic cancer drug, and their phase 3 clinical trials that they're reporting on is doing phenomenal. They were a $200 stock at one point, and they fell down to $8 because they had to pause clinical trials because they had like 4 or 5 people pass away, and it wasn't due to the drug. It wasn't even due to the disease they had. It was another type of cancer that was not known. MSTY still using their strategy and collecting dividends on this. This is that. This is a MSTR yield max option income. So 52 cents per share on dividend is what I'm earning here. And then as Bitcoin goes back up and MSTR goes back up, this goes back up. If this gets back up into, $100 level, not only will I 4x my return on MSTY, but I'll also have made a whole boatload of dividends as well, right? So love this at this cheap of a price to get 52 cents a share. Good on us for being in that. ABTC, the good old Trump coin, risk play that we call that, like $2. I think it's down to $1.24 again. If this crawls back up and gets into this 347 level, I literally have a pending sell for everything I own at 347, and I'm getting out of it and I'm never getting back into it. I've learned my lesson. Not messing with the American Bitcoin Corporation owned by Kushner and Eric Trump, because not to say anything politically. I'm not saying anything politically. I'm just saying, like, I don't want this crazy volatility kind of deal. You know what I mean? I just don't want that volatility. My money's better elsewhere where I can get better return for it. So that's just me. But it'll be a great play. Nokia, I know my man Dennis in here is just crushing it in this stock. I think 3 trades, 1,500 and 2,000, if I remember correctly, for him. Nokia's one. We looked at this system, by the way, for those that don't know, this is something that I'm working on, will be coming out sometime in May. It draws counter trend lines for you and it gives you optimal reentries. And it also can do like additional entries as well and a whole host of things. But it came up to 1095, and now we're seeing a little bit of a pullback. I do anticipate this to pull back probably to 894 or so, and then the next rally up in it will begin to happen. It doesn't, parabolic moves don't last, and they do often get filled quickly. Then let's keep this rolling. Let's see, Charter Communication. Like I said, I closed out my original trade, and I am waiting on the next trade here on Charter. It looks like we got it on Friday. So I was waiting for this to get filled. We're sitting at 180.13. So I'm more than likely in. I set my pending buy. I talked about this. And now we're waiting on this next move up. Yes, they had the worse than expected earnings. This is due to some bigger investments, but they still beat on revenue and they're not going nowhere. So Charter Communication, and they also had some big CapEx spending that they did. So that will ultimately pay off. Again, my long-term outlook is 379 on Charter, but right now, and it could go even higher, as you guys can see. I mean, at one point it was at 800 back in 2021, but now, more competition, stiffer competition. So I think 380 is $200 up is potentially going to happen. VCX is sitting at what, 85 again? Yep, 85.48. Not worried about this at all. Looking for VCX to begin its ascent up again, starting soon. You can see it's gone pretty flat ever since that crazy spike. And I think that was more overhypeness than anything. But once SpaceX goes public, or Anthropic goes public, or OpenAI goes public, they have preferred shares as well as angel, like Series DC, probably D and beyond funding shares as well. So they're in a prime position. Like, this is going to be a extremely profitable company. I'm not worried about it in the least bit. If you are, don't, is what I'll say. All right. How about that? Let's go COHR really quickly. Coherent Group. So we filled the gap. We've rallied up nicely. It's pulled back here over the last couple of days. Oh, let me go back to the daily. Sorry. So we do have a gap at 260. It did roll over right here. We haven't have we broken that counter trend or anything like that. So no counter trend line break or anything. If we do break below, let's say 326, then it's falling to 259. As long as we hit this, bounce on it, and stay above it, then we should be good to go, right? When it comes to a stock like this. And then let's check it out in HFT just in case. COHR. And HFT still showing a buy. We are breaking through that. Selling energy is high. So this is going to pull back. How far it pulls back? Hey, but just know it is going to pull back. Okay. So it is going to pull back. So earnings May 6th is when they have earnings reported. Let me see. HR. What specifically do they do in semiconductor development, refinement, manufacturing, marketing of engineered materials, electronic components? Here's what I don't like about the company. It looks like they sell the stuff that manufactures the chips, right? They sell the stuff that manufactures the chips. How many manufacturing plants have come on board? Yeah, exactly. Do we look? They have a good amount of debt. They reinvest their stuff. They're gonna be building. I don't know if they're gonna be building right now, right? There's delays in like a third of all data centers are delayed right now. A third of all of them. And climbing, it's not like it's getting lower. So this is why, take the hype for what it was, take the relief for what it was, but protect yourself with stops up the way, right? Protect yourself with stops on the way. Don't get caught when, not if, but when we come back to 250. So it's not an if for me, it's a win, right? It's going to happen. I'll tell you that now. And I do believe we're going to see a major AI data correction because of the slowdown in data centers. They got to figure out the water thing. They got to figure out cooling. They got to figure out who's financing all of this. They got to figure out the land. They need to figure out the power. They need to figure out all of this stuff. Okay. NTLA, Bella. That's November Tango Lima Alpha. So just be cautiously optimistic around these AI stocks. So ASTS, this one still sitting sideways. D extension is still $67. Still in the sell zone, still looking to sell, more than likely coming back down to 67. You may get another pull up, but it's not, still selling energy is higher. We probably will see a little bit of a push up with their next launch or whatever, but we'll see. Okay. Data centers in space, that we're a long time out from that, Sam, because we got to figure out how to, get the data from the data center to the US in an efficient manner that doesn't slow down. Now, SpaceX and stuff like that will help with that, but right now there's speed limiting. There's, we got to figure out how many drones they're going to continue to manufacture to throw up into lower orbit. And, what the implication is on that. So, how can you get in on the SpaceX IPO? So typically, I believe I don't know if it's Morgan Stanley or JP Morgan. I want to say it's JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley that is doing the underwriting for that. You generally have to have like 2.5 million plus invested, be an accredited investor, and then you may be able to get some pre-share opportunity. Uh, the other way is by VCX. You're getting preferred stock. That means it can't be diluted. So you're getting, I think they own 5% of SpaceX. So I think they own 5% of SpaceX there. Um, let's see. Next is CoreWeave. CoreWeave already turning over, selling energy is maximizing. So look, I think it's just, yes, they have earnings. Their earnings have been a mixed bag of mixed bags, and they're as long as they don't lose 90 cents a share, then they should be okay. Um, hmm. Let's look. Huh. All right. Oh, one of the well, we'll go to that next actually. Man, just read what they say. They engaged in the powers of the creation and delivery of intelligence that drives innovation. It offers a solution used by organizations of all sizes that requires sophisticated AI computing, from the largest enterprises to small, well funded startups. Guys, if there was a paragraph that said the most things, but saying the least things, that would be that company right there. That is one of those. No, there's not a secondary market for SpaceX, Neil. Um, 12 banks will do the offer. So that means, but there's one main underwriter. I should say this, okay? William, I typically, I typically only go with the underwriting company whenever I've bought preferred shares and early on. Yeah, you could buy ARK. Yes, absolutely. You could buy ARK, ARKK. That is a very, very good. Kyla, I totally forgot about ARKK. They've been a permanent staple in my profile, in my portfolio as well. So yes, ASTS earnings are on May 11th, Priyanka, but they've never beat earnings. So I don't know if we'll see a change in that yet, right? They had costs, but no more earnings. No ETFs are they're not in any ETFs yet, Sam, except for things like ARK and VCX. So ARK is a ETF, but it gives you access to what Cathie Wood is specifically holding, not what like not like a integrated ETF like XLE or SPY or something like that. Okay. Um, let's see. BK, just be careful. Mark just said there's so many scams. Let me tell you about the worst scam I've ever seen. Okay, Twitter, when it was going public, this is exactly 2 days before Twitter went public, right? Their ticker symbol was announced. It was going to be TWTR. 2 days before that, TWTRR came out as a penny stock. People, that thing went up to like from I think a penny to like $200, and then the owners dumped it, and they got scammed. Just remember, it sounds too damn to be good to be true. It is sometimes, right? Like it is sometimes. Don't just jump into something just because you see it and it's public and there's an opportunity, because it can cause issue. I don't want you to have that. ARKK, absolutely a great way to get into ARKK holdings. Really like Cathie Wood. She's brilliant investor. Um, So if we go to holdings here, she has Tesla, CRISPR, AMD, Tempest AI, Shopify, Coinbase, Robinhood, Roku, and Beam Therapeutics. She also, I know she has some space stuff in there. What other funds does she have? Venture funds. You could do the ARKVX if you can get into that, depending on, I don't know if it's publicly traded, but they have 17% of SpaceX, 11% AI, Replit, Figure AI, Anthropic, which makes Claude, Databricks, Radiant as well. Okay. Let's see. Leon, VCX already owns 5% of their fund is already owns SpaceX shares. Right. So, FTW just said that ARKVX, right? So let's go look and see, can we buy it? ARKVX. So it is listed on the NASDAQ. I don't know if you'll be able to buy it or not because it doesn't look like it's charted yet, but hey, maybe it is. We'll see. Right. Let me run through these. So ARKVX. That's going to be a good one. If you can buy it, great. If you can't, you can't. Eli Lilly, that's one I wanted to talk about here today, just to make sure. So Eli Lilly, I personally would recommend to get into this stock sooner rather than later. One of their next drugs that they're going to be releasing is, so as many of you guys know, like Ozempic, right? It helps with weight loss, but it by suppressing ghrelin, which is the hunger, the thing that the uh, hormone or whatever that communicates hunger from your stomach to your brain to make you want to eat. And so it helps suppress that as well as slow your digestion down so it, you feel fuller longer and helps your blood sugar stay flat. But satiety hormone, thank you. Goodness gracious. That brain block right there had a backup in the traffic at the brain housing group here for a second. Here's the thing, right? The downside of Ozempic, semaglutides, tirzepatides, right? Those peptides that are semaglutides and tirzepatides. The downside is that your body doesn't discern whether it wants to use fat or muscle. And so it's breaking down like connective tissue and muscle, and people are, losing muscle mass. And that's why they say, oh, you got to work out and you got to do this and you got to do that. And yes, that's true. Well, Eli Lilly has already patented and is bringing to market another peptide. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's a Rematide or one of the ones I was reading about recently. But anyway, this peptide specifically, what it does is that when it's injected, it blocks your body from breaking down the muscle. So it will break down even more fat. So think about like Ozempic will stimulate your body to use fat. And then this will actually stimulate your body to say, hey, only use fat, don't break down muscle. And so that will help with conditions like fatty liver, as well as any visceral fat, and it's specifically around belly fat as well. So you'll be able to use both of them. Retatride. Yeah, I think I said that right. So, and you'll be able to use both of them at the same time. So right now, the stock has fallen from its high at 1130 down to 883. Personally, I would buy this now even before earnings. They're probably going to beat earnings as well. And then this stock is going to probably head up to wherever. And then eventually we'll get a split and you'll have more shares and it'll head back up. Because coming in July of this year, peptides potentially being released in July 2026, or should say rescheduled. So a couple of years ago, the FDA banned some peptides, but in July of this year, they're going to be looking at allowing the 12 peptides to be re-released by compounding pharmacies. I don't know if there's any publicly traded compounded pharmacies, but I would look into those. I would tell you to look into those as well, because if there are, that'll be some great ones. I know Hims and Roe. Hims, I would buy that stock right now, because if this, and more than likely, right, this would get approved. But BP 157, I know, is a peptide that you can inject that helps with recovery. It also helps with sleep. CMAX helps with like cognitive function, and it helps actually with, it may stop people from being on Adderall so much. And I take Adderall and I can't stand it. I want to take something else. This GHK CU, this is actually used in skincare products right now. It doesn't have the same effect or as good of effect as it does when it's injected. But GHK CU, it actually helps with hair growth and skin as well, like clearing your skin of marks and increasing stuff. So there is a whole host of these 12. These injectables are potentially coming back, and this is a way a way better way for people to do some sort of health. Mark said they're all scam RX. Mark, it's interesting. There's so much more information that we have that they're not, which is crazy, right? It's just crazy. So whether you believe in them or you don't, if you believe in making money, you probably find a stock or two to be invested in with this. So no worries. And Neil, I'll make sure somebody gives you a call tomorrow as well. And we're gonna run through a couple more of these stocks. So bear with me here, and then I'm gonna head out to my others. All right. Robert, yeah, I don't know. I didn't send it out. Somebody sends it out for me. And that's the marketing or whatever. So I'll let them know that that email did not go and they didn't have the right dates in there because it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Um, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Robert. As far as I know, here, we'll even look together. TopTradeTools.com. So, Easy Dash 28th. So it's the 28th. Okay. So good to go. So let me run through a few more of these. We'll definitely look at gold really quickly. So let me go here to GC. So gold futures, we're back in the buy zone, but buying, we are fleeting on the buying side. So it looks like that we may end up flat again. I do anticipate there to be some sort of bullish movement in gold. The D extension here was reached. Yep, was reached this week on the upside. So we may see gold head to 5,269.70. However, the downside of gold is this 3679. As of right this minute, that's where we are. So even if gold rallies to 52.69, we're still not out of the woods. We could still see it fall another 2,000 points. And if what I said earlier happens, right? If what I said around the S&P 500 actually happens, and like we're predicting it to happen, which there's nothing that says that it won't, right? There's just so many things that are happening. And I could go into the bond market in China, how how China is the most stable environment to put your money in, which is crazy when you think about that. That statement is wild because they still have full capital controls. But their bond yield rate has remained flat while everybody else's has gone up. Their bond rate has remained flat while everybody else's has gone up, meaning their debt is the most stable out of every country while everybody else has gone up, right? And we've increased debt to astronomical ratios. But, I'm not saying I'm putting my money there, but I will just say this. It's one of those things. Joseph, I appreciate that. So, let's see. And let's go and look here. So gold, potentially see it going up. I think it will pull down a little bit more. I think maybe 4,500, so 4,550 to 4,500, somewhere in there is my pullback number. And then hopefully we continue to see it rally up from there. If we go now to a couple others really quickly, we'll do Google and Carvana. So let's go CVNA. Carvana, great rally, still really nervous. We are at the highest default rate in car history, and Toyota just started discounting their cars. That's another thing, right? Toyota's one of those car companies that they rarely discount, and their sales have to be really slow for them to discount, and they're starting to discount because inventories are piling up. I'm actually actively looking for a new car myself, and I've gone to every type of dealership from Hyundai to Audi to Mercedes to BMW to Porsche, and every single brand. Porsche has 2024s on the lot, brand new. 2024s, brand new. They have 24s, 25s, and 26s. Mercedes, 24s, 25s, and 26s. Audi, 25 and 26. I didn't see too many. A couple of 24s, but not many. Jeep, 25 and 26s. Like Toyota even has 25s out there. So, right? So I look at this as like, hey, be careful with Carvana. If you're in this and you made some great money, just move up your stops, right? You are getting a split on this, right? So they're doing a 5-for-1 split. So that means that if you bought one share at 409, it's going to divide that share 5 ways. So what's that? 80? I don't know. My brain is fried from this weekend. Yeah, $80 a share. So that means you get 5 shares at $80. So you can buy pre-split or post-split. It doesn't really matter. Personally, I like to buy post-split unless I'm already in it, and then I'll just hold it through the split. Like I know SMCL, which is an SMCI play, they are doing a 20-for-1 split. And so like this stock is $2.64. It's a great way to trade SMCL. I'm only looking for it to go to 413. I bought it at like $2. And, if I'll sell half my shares there and the other half at $13. But when this splits 20-for-1, right, or 1 for 20, that means that the shares are going to be 40 some dollars a share, and then we'll probably see a correction and then a rally up, right? That's just how it's going to go. So the last one here is Google. And then I need to run for my other meeting. That's I'm already late for, but I'm not speaking there tonight. So 342. Again, I still think Google will beat earnings. I think there will be some forward guidance around AI. Probably not as what they expected, or the profit won't be as what they expected. Probably will get like a little bit of a correction and then the next rally up. But Google's the stock you're just going to want to own. So With that said, guys, again, here is the link if you want to book time with me regarding your retirement and retirement planning and what we can do in order to help you. I think it's just great information to have. And you know, I want to make sure that you guys are protected as possible. Right? You're investing because you're trying to make money, not because you want to withstand the massive drawdown that could happen, right? 40%, 48%, what we saw from the top 500 companies during the 70s because of an oil embargo. We have basically the same scenario happening now. Might as well let's have that meeting. So looking forward to it. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one.